Out of the dim forest came the giant python, skin melted and reshaped. Within seconds, where the serpent had been stood a man, tall, elegant, dressed in a charcoal suit that fit like it was woven onto his body. A shimmering wristwatch caught the moonlight, polished shoes without a single scuff. He carried a sleek black briefcase, leather so fine it seemed to breathe. A calm, mysterious smile crossed his face. Waiting by the roadside sat a black Rolls Royce Phantom, headlights blinking twice as if recognizing its master. He opened the door, slid inside, adjusted his collar, placed the briefcase beside him with care. The engine purred. The forest watched him leave. He drove toward the glowing chaos of Cape Town. Cape Town's long street throbbed with life. Music spilled from every doorway. Neon lights painted the pavement in streaks of pink and blue. Laughter mixed with shouting, car horns, the distant crash of breaking glass. The Rolls Royce glided through it all like a shark through shallow water. People turned to stare. Some pointed. Others pulled out phones to film. The car stopped outside Club Nione, one of the most popular spots on the strip. The stranger stepped out. Every conversation nearby stuttered to a halt. He looked too wealthy, too calm, too perfect. Something about him didn't sit right, but no one could say what. He walked to the entrance. The bouncer didn't ask for ID, didn't ask questions. Just stepped aside. Inside, the bass hit like a physical force. Bodies packed the dance floor, moving as one sweating mass. Coloured lights spun across faces lost in rhythm. The stranger chose a quiet corner table away from the chaos but with a clear view of the stage. He sat, placed the briefcase beside him, ordered nothing, just watched. On the stage, a girl danced. Her name was Lerato. She moved like the music lived inside her, like she was born under strobe lights, confident, radiant, glowing under the neon wash. She wore a short gold dress that caught every flash of light, hair pulled back tight, smile wide and fearless. The crowd loved her. They always did. She fed off their energy, spinning, dipping, laughing. She owned that stage. The stranger's eyes locked onto her. He didn't blink, didn't look away, didn't even seem to breathe. Just stared with an intensity that should have burned. Minutes passed. The song changed. Lerato kept dancing. He kept watching. Then, slowly, deliberately, he reached for the briefcase, clicked it open. The lights inside the club shifted just for a second and caught the interior of that case. Stacks of cash. Crisp, neat, bundled tight. More money than most people in that room had seen in their entire lives. Someone nearby gasped. "Hawu, yo, this is serious money," another voice shouted. Heads turned. Whispers spread like wildfire. The stranger smiled. He took 2 fat bundles, stood, and walked toward the stage. Lerato didn't notice him at first. She was mid-spin, lost in the beat. Then the first bills hit the air. 100 Rand notes fluttered around her like golden rain. She froze, looked down, looked up. The stranger stood at the edge of the stage, throwing money with the calm precision of someone watering plants. The crowd erupted, screaming, shouting. Phones came out everywhere. Lerato's eyes went wide. She laughed, shocked, spinning again as the cash piled at her feet. When the song ended, she ran off stage, still breathless, still glowing, and went straight to his table. "Who are you?" she asked, half laughing, half confused. He stood, extended a hand. "My name is Khumo." His voice was smooth, deep, warm like expensive whiskey. She shook his hand. It was cold, ice cold, but she didn't pull away. "That was too insane," she said, glancing at the money still scattered near the stage. People were fighting over it now. "You're beautiful," he said simply. She blushed, looked down. "Thank you." He leaned closer. "Will you marry me?" The question hit her like cold water. She blinked. "What?" "Will you marry me?" he repeated, completely serious. Lerato laughed nervously. "You're joking." He wasn't smiling anymore. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Opened it. Inside sat a diamond ring so flawless it looked like it held lightning inside it. Her breath stopped. The noise of the club faded. "Say yes," he said softly. The crowd around them had gone silent, watching, phones recording everything. Lerato's heart pounded. This was insane. This was impossible. This was... Yes, she whispered. The club exploded, cheering, clapping, screaming. Khumo slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. He kissed her hand. His lips were cold too. "Tomorrow," he said. "Same place, I will return." Then he stood, picked up his briefcase and walked out. And just like that. Lerato stood there, staring at the ring, surrounded by chaos, unable to process what just happened. Outside, Khumo slid back into the Rolls Royce. The engine purred to life. He drove away from Long Street, away from the lights, away from the noise. The city gave way to suburbs. Suburbs gave way to forest. He drove deep into the Stellenbosch hills, down dirt roads that didn't appear on any map. Finally, he stopped. Stepped out of the car. The forest was silent. No crickets, no birds, just the weight of something ancient watching. He stood still for a moment, tilted his head back and closed his eyes. Then his body began to shift. His spine cracked. His legs fused. His skin rippled and hardened into golden scales. His arms pulled into his torso, his face elongated, jaw unhinging, eyes going black and cold. Within seconds, the man was gone. The python coiled where he had stood. The briefcase vanished, absorbed into the transformation like it had never existed. The serpent slithered into the darkness, disappearing into the trees. Lerato ran all the way home to Khayelitsha. Her lungs burned, her legs ached. She didn't care. She burst through the door of the small house she shared with her two best friends, Naledi and Thando. "Girls, girls, wake up!" she screamed. Naledi stumbled out of her room, hair wrapped, rubbing her eyes. "Lerato, it's 2 a.m. What?" She stopped. Saw the ring. Her jaw dropped. Thando appeared behind her, arms crossed, suspicious. "What happened?" Lerato couldn't stop smiling. She held up her hand. The diamond caught the dim living room light and blazed. "I'm engaged!" Naledi screamed. Thando's eyes narrowed. "To who?" "His name is Khumo. He came to the club tonight. He threw so much money on me. Then he proposed. Right there. In front of everyone." Naledi grabbed her hand, inspecting the ring. "This is real. This is... Lerato, this is insane." "How much money are we talking?" Thando asked. Lerato pulled bundles of cash from her purse, dropped them on the couch. Both girls froze. "He gave me this too. Said it's just the beginning." Naledi sat down hard. "You're joking." "I'm not." Thando picked up one of the bundles, flipped through it, set it down carefully. "Where does he live? What does he do? Where's his family?" Lerato's smile faltered. I don't know. We didn't talk long. He said he'd come back tomorrow. And you said yes to marrying a man you just met?" Thando's voice was sharp. "Look at the ring, Thando. Look at the money. He's rich, like crazy rich." "That's exactly what worries me." Naledi jumped in. "Thando, stop. Let her be happy." But Thando's unease didn't fade. She watched Lerato twirl around the room, watched the ring catch the light, and felt something cold settle in her stomach. The next night, the python transformed again. This time, Khumo wore a black suit with gold embroidery stitched along the lapels. His briefcase was different too, sparkling like it had been dusted with crushed diamonds. The Rolls Royce carried him back to Club Neoni. Lerato and her friends were already outside, waiting. She saw the car and screamed, running toward it before it even stopped. The door opened. Khumo stepped out. She threw herself into his arms. He caught her, held her, but didn't squeeze back. His embrace felt stiff, wrong. "You came back," she whispered. "I said I would." She pulled back, looked at him, and froze. His skin was pale, almost grey, and cold. So cold it felt like hugging a corpse. "You're freezing," she said. He smiled. The AC in the car. Too cold. She nodded, accepting it, but Thando stood a few feet away watching. She saw the way he moved. Too smooth, too controlled, like he was imitating a human rather than being one. Naledi bounced over, excited. "So what's the plan tonight? More dancing? More money?" Khumo's smile widened. "I have something better to show you." He gestured toward the car. "Come." They drove through Cape Town, climbing the winding roads toward Camps Bay. The ocean glittered to their left. Expensive homes lined the hills to their right. The car turned into a gated community, stopped in front of a modern duplex with floor-to-ceiling windows, a pool, a view that stretched forever. "This," Khumo said, "is yours." Lerato's hands flew to her mouth. "What?" "Your home. Our home." She burst into tears. Naledi screamed. Thando stood silent, staring at the house, then at Khumo, then back at the house. "This is happening too fast," Thando muttered. "Too strange." Naledi elbowed her. "You're just jealous." "I'm careful." Khumo led them inside. The house was fully furnished. Marble floors, designer furniture, a kitchen that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Lerato ran from room to room, sobbing with joy. Khumo watched her with that same calm smile, never breaking, never faltering. When she finally came back downstairs, she kissed him. His lips were cold. She pulled back. "Are you feeling okay?" "I'm perfect," he said. But his eyes looked darker now, sharper, like something behind them was waking up. 1 week later, the wedding took place at the Cape Castle. The venue was transformed into a palace of white and gold. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. White roses covered every surface. A string quartet played softly. Guests arrived in luxury cars dressed in their finest. Celebrities, business people, influencers, everyone wanted to be part of this fairy tale. Lerato stood in the bridal suite, staring at herself in the mirror. Her gown was custom-made, beaded with pearls, a long train that seemed to float. Her makeup was flawless. Her hair swept into an elegant bun. She looked like a queen. Naledi stood beside her, crying. "You're so beautiful." Thando adjusted the veil, saying nothing. Outside, the ceremony began. Khumo stood at the altar in a white suit with gold accents. He looked perfect, impossibly perfect. Lerato walked down the aisle. The crowd gasped. Cameras flashed. The officiants spoke. Vows were exchanged. Rings were placed. "You may kiss the bride." Khumo leaned in, kissed her gently. The crowd erupted in applause, but as the celebration continued, people began to whisper. "Where's his family? Why isn't anyone from his side here? Not even one relative?" someone asked Khumo directly. He smiled. "They couldn't make it. Business overseas." The answer satisfied most. But not everyone. In the back of the venue, 2 men watched from the shadows. One of them was Mandla, Lerato's ex-boyfriend. He'd been trying to win her back for months. Seeing her marry someone else, especially someone like Khumo, made his blood boil. "That man," Mandla said to his friend. "Something is wrong with him." His friend nodded slowly. "Yeah, I feel it too." They watched Khumo move through the crowd. He never ate, never drank, just smiled and nodded, his eyes scanning the room like a predator counting prey. The honeymoon phase began. Khumo moved Lerato into the Camps Bay house. Every morning she woke up to a new gift. Designer handbags, jewelry, a brand new car. He spoiled her endlessly. But every night, he disappeared. "I have to travel to Botswana tonight," he'd say. "Business?" Lerato never questioned it. The wealth blinded her. The luxury numbed her instincts. Naledi visited often, marveling at the house, the clothes, the life Lerato now lived. Thando visited less. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply, horribly wrong. One night, Lerato was alone. Khumo had left hours ago, claiming another business trip. She stood in the bathroom, doing her skincare routine, humming softly to herself. The house was silent. Too silent. She heard the bedroom door open. She froze. "Khumo?" she called. No answer. She picked up her handheld mirror, angling it to see the doorway behind her. Her breath stopped. In the reflection she saw him, but his lower half wasn't legs. It was a massive golden serpent tail, coiled and thick, scales glinting in the dim light. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She spun around. He stood there, fully human, legs, shoes, suit, normal. He tilted his head, studying her face. His eyes were darker than usual, sharper. He knew she'd seen it. "You're home early," she said, voice shaking. "I forgot something," he said softly. He didn't move like a person, didn't walk. He just seemed to glide forward, feet barely touching the ground. "Are you okay?" he asked. "You look pale." "I'm fine," she lied. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Then, without walking, without turning, he vanished. Not through the door, not down the hall, just gone, dissolved into shadow like smoke. Lerato collapsed onto the bathroom floor, clutching the mirror, sobbing silently. She didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. She checked every mirror in the house, terrified of what she might see. Morning came. Khumo returned as if nothing had happened. He wore another expensive suit, carried coffee, kissed her forehead. "Good morning, my love." His eyes studied her carefully. Waiting. Watching. "How did you sleep?" "Fine," she whispered. He smiled. "Good. Tonight we must go somewhere." "Where?" "You'll see." Something in the forest stirred. An ancient presence connected to Khumo began to wake. It had been waiting, patient, hungry, and now it was almost time. Lerato spent the day in a haze. She tried calling Thando, but her phone went straight to voicemail. She tried Naledi. Same thing. The house felt bigger, emptier, colder. She stood in front of the massive living room window, staring out at the ocean, and realized something. She'd never seen Khumo eat, never seen him drink, never seen him sleep. He claimed to travel every night, but his car was always in the driveway. No luggage, no tickets, no proof. "What have I married?" she whispered to herself. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. She turned. Khumo stood in the doorway, watching her with that unblinking stare. "It's time," he said. "Time for what?" "To meet my family." Her stomach dropped. "I thought they were overseas." "They are," he said, "in a way." He extended his hand. "Come." She wanted to run. Every instinct screamed at her to run. But where? She had no money of her own, no car, no family nearby, and something in his eyes told her that running would be worse. She took his hand. It was ice cold. They drove in silence. The Rolls Royce climbed out of Cape Town, heading toward the mountains. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of blood and gold. Lerato watched the city disappear behind them. "Where are we going?" she asked again. "To the place I was born," Khumo said. His voice had changed, deeper, less human. The road turned to dirt. The trees grew thicker, darker. The GPS stopped working. The phone signal died. They were deep in the forest now, far from any civilization. Finally, the car stopped. Khumo turned off the engine. The silence was absolute. "Get out," he said. She obeyed, legs shaking. Khumo stepped out of the car, closed the door, looked at her. "I want you to understand something, Lerato," he said. "I didn't lie to you. I am wealthy. I do own that house. I did give you everything I promised." "Then what are you?" she whispered. He smiled sadly. "I am old. Older than this country. Older than the cities. My kind has walked this land since before your ancestors could name it." His body began to change. She screamed. His spine twisted, his legs fused, his skin hardened into golden scales, his face elongated, eyes going black, mouth splitting wide. Within seconds, the man was gone. The python coiled before her, massive, ancient, beautiful, and terrible. She fell to her knees, sobbing. The serpent spoke. Its voice was a hiss and a whisper and a roar all at once. "I chose you because you burned brighter than the others, because you reminded me of someone I lost long ago. Please," she begged, "please don't hurt me." "Hurt you?" The serpent's head lowered until it was level with hers. "I have given you everything, and I will continue to give you everything. But you must accept what I am." "I can't," she sobbed. "I can't do this." The serpent's eyes softened. "Then I will take you home, and you will never see me again, but you will keep everything, the house, the money, the life. It is yours. I do not take back my gifts." She looked up, confused. "You're letting me go?" "I am not a monster, Lerato. I am simply not a man." He began to transform back, bones cracking, scales melting. Within moments, Khumo stood before her again, human, fully dressed, extending his hand. "The choice is yours," he said quietly. She stared at his hand, at his face, at the forest around them. She thought of the house, the money, the life she'd built in just a few weeks. She thought of going back to Khayelitsha, to struggling, to wondering if she'd ever escape. And she thought of the way he looked at her, not like prey, like something precious. Slowly, shakily. She took his hand. He pulled her to her feet. "You're sure?" he asked. She nodded, not trusting her voice. He studied her for a long moment. Then he smiled. "Then we have much to teach you." "Teach me." "About my world, about the old ways, about what it means to be bound to something ancient." He led her deeper into the forest. They walked for what felt like hours. Finally, they reached a clearing. In the center stood a massive stone structure half buried in earth and vine. It looked older than anything she'd ever seen. Carvings covered its surface, symbols she didn't recognize. "This," Khumo said, "is where I was born, where my kind has lived for thousands of years. There are more of you?" "Not many. We are few now. The world has forgotten us." He led her inside. The air was cool and damp. The walls glowed faintly with bioluminescent moss. They descended stone steps, going deeper and deeper underground. At the bottom was a chamber, and in that chamber, coiled around pillars and stones, were others. Serpents, golden, silver, black, all massive, all ancient, all watching her. Lerato's breath caught. One of the serpents transformed. An older woman appeared, regal, draped in cloth that seemed to shimmer like scales. "So," the woman said, "this is the one you chose?" Khumo nodded. "This is Lerato, my wife." The woman approached, circling Lerato slowly, studying her. "She is human. She is mine." The woman's eyes narrowed. "And does she accept what you are?" Lerato's voice came out small. I do." The woman stopped, smiled. "Then welcome, child. Welcome to the old blood." The other serpents began to transform. Men and women appeared, all beautiful, all strange, all watching her with eyes that were too dark, too deep. "You will learn our ways," the woman said. "You will carry our secrets, and in time, you may even become one of us." Lerato looked at Khumo. "What does that mean?" "It means," he said softly, "that you will live as long as I do, but you will no longer be fully human." She should have been terrified, should have run screaming, but instead she felt something else. Curiosity, wonder, a strange sense of belonging. "I accept," she whispered. The serpent smiled. Months passed. Lerato learned. She learned about the old magic, the way the serpents moved between worlds, the way they'd survived for millennia by hiding in plain sight. She learned to see through their eyes, to feel the pulse of the earth beneath her feet. And slowly, carefully, she began to change. Her senses sharpened. Her strength grew. Her skin took on a faint shimmer in certain lights. Back in Khayelitsha, Thando sat with Naledi staring at her phone. "She's not answering," Thando said. "She never answers anymore," Naledi replied. "She's busy. She's living a whole new life. Or she's in danger." Naledi rolled her eyes. "You're paranoid." But Thando couldn't shake it. She'd driven past the Camps Bay house twice. Both times the lights were off. The car was gone. No sign of anyone. She'd asked around the club. No one had seen Lerato in months. It was like she'd vanished. "I'm going to find her," Thando said. "Good luck," Naledi muttered. But Thando meant it. She packed a bag, grabbed her keys, and set out to find her friend. She didn't know what she'd find. Didn't know if Lerato was alive or dead, happy or trapped. But she knew she had to try. Deep in the forest, the ancient presence stirred. Khumo stood at the edge of the clearing, staring into the dark trees, and smiled. "It's almost time," he whispered. Beside him, Lerato stood, her eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight. "For what?" she asked. "For the old world to return," he said, "and for you to help me bring it back." She took his hand, felt the scales beneath his skin. She was something else now, something older, something powerful, and she was ready. Would you like to see another episode of this story? Please hit the like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from.